Welcome to Mansfield Matters, your home for all things stat.
Craig's at the mic, his passion's bright, with metaphors you can't ignore, and anagrams that make us groan till everyone starts to moan.
Who is Randy Once?
We're the Mansfield Matters crew, making podcasts just for you. Some show up, some disappear, but the Stags bring us all here. Through the ups and downs we stay, talking Mansfield town every day. Where's Nathan gone? He's never on. The blind Stag's late, not gonna wait. Cam's watching Hollyoaks again. He's useless anyway. Let's just begin. We're the Mansfield Matters crew, making podcasts just for you. Some show up, some disappear, but the Stags bring us all here. Through the ups and downs we stay, talking Mansfield town every day. And now, introducing the world's greatest announcer. Alan brings the joy and light, while Clive keeps sense in sight. Nick's got shirts for every day. Jim's our super sub. Hey, hey! The chat rolls on. Your prediction. We give match reports and witty retorts, while Craig reads questions from his list that leave us all feeling pretty miffed. Time's almost up. Done! We're the Mansfield Matters crew, making podcasts just for you. Some show up, some disappear, but the Stags bring us all here. Through the ups and downs we stay, talking Mansfield town every day. That's all for this week. Probably. Ish.
I feel like 7:30 on a Thursday night is the ideal time for a little story. There once was a sleepy town in Derbyshire called Chesterfield. They had a football team who were inferior to the mighty Mansfield. Yet this football team thought that they were better than Mansfield, having won their opening 2 games of the season without conceding a goal. They thought they were going to trounce all over the Super Stags. But Rhys Oates, Will Evans and Liam Roberts had other ideas. A fantastic win on Derby Day in Derbyshire sees the Stags into round 2 of the Carabao Cup, and names etched in Mansfield folklore again. Arise Sir Rhys Oates, Sir Will Evans and definitely Sir Liam Roberts. But as we have joy from Derby Day, we also need to cast our eye back on defeat at home to Doncaster, meaning the Stags have started their League One season with 2 successive defeats. Can they turn a corner as they head to Exeter on Saturday, using the Derby Day delight as a catalyst going forward? As always, come and have your say on your team. Let's revel in Derby Day delight. Let's look back on that defeat at home to Doncaster, and let's look forward to the remainder of the season, no doubt discussing who we're going to get next in the Carabao Cup. As I record this intro, we've got no idea, so let's face it, it's probably going to be someone absolutely naff at home, whilst we all want it to be a lovely Premier League side away. Who knows what may happen? Come and join the conversation. Have your say on your team on the show for the fans, by the fans, live from my Exeter hotel room. This is the Mansfield Matters Podcast. You know, it's not often that we get what we want when it comes to cup draws and getting through round 1. Like I said there in the intro, After beating the C word, we thought, oh, we'll get a NAF team at home. But no, a Premier League team away it is. Everton going to their brand new ground. Just another cherry on top of the fabulous cake that was delivered on Tuesday night. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Mansfield Matters podcast, a show for the fans, by the fans. Why? Because Mansfield always matters. Those of you watching may well notice that it does look a little bit different tonight. That's because I'm holed up in a hotel room in Exeter ahead of Saturday's early kickoff. I thought, you know what? Why not go and have a few days away? I said to my fiance, I said, I've got some time owed off from work. Let's book some time in. Let's go all the way down to Devon. Let's have a lovely few days away. Oh, and by the way, on the Saturday, I might leave you for 4 hours because just coincidentally, the Stags are playing at Exeter. And you know what? I got away with it. So apologies if this evening there is a little bit of an interruption in the old broadcasting because hotel Wi-Fi and all that. It's not used to live streaming, is it? It's used to... Actually, let's not think about what Cam does when he goes on hotel trips. Let's say hello to tonight's Mansfield Matters podcast panel then, shall we? Let's cross over to Sutton in Ashfield and say hello and welcome to a man who's itching to see 3 points at home for the Stags after seeing us concede in the last minute or so at the weekend. Good evening, Al.
Good evening, Craig. Good evening, everybody.
And let's say hello and good evening to a man that's just itching to see. Evening, Nath.
Evening, Craig. Evening, everyone at home.
Sorry, mate. That was a low
harsh,
ball. I apologise. I know. I'm sorry. And do you know what? What's the most funny about it is we were talking about who's going to come on the podcast this week, and Clive said, "Is anybody coming on the podcast panel this week that's actually been and seen us win at Chesterfield?" I went, well, there is somebody coming on the podcast that has been to Chesterfield, but them seeing us win at Chesterfield, he's never going to happen,
that
is
comment,
it?
I thought, you know what, I'm going to rise above it and just not acknowledge it.
To be fair, though, as much as we laugh and joke, I realise that anyone that's new to watching this podcast thinks that we're just being mean to Nathan. We're not. Nathan is the blind stag for a reason. He is actually blind, so he can't see me do this or other things. But out of us all, you've got a fantastic sense of the bouncing atmosphere on Tuesday night. So let's start with that, shall we?
I got the best end of the deal, to be honest, because I didn't actually have to see how bad we was playing on the pitch. I did get the atmosphere and that side of the game, which is what Derby Day is all about. And I'm so grateful to even have got tickets in the first place. Luckily, a friend had tickets come available because I did miss out with the loyalty point system and all that, as you may recall. But yeah, to be there, I was dreading it beforehand. I'll hold my hands up. I did expect the worst, but Rhys Oates getting us off to that start just set the tone for the atmosphere for the night. And yeah, it ended up being another memorable game at that ground, which is nice to say 4-0 on aggregate now, isn't it? For the new stadium.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'm sure we'll delve more into that later on. As Nathan alluded to there, Alan, it wasn't the best of performances from Mansfield, and you look at all the stats and things like that, and you think the League Two side should have knocked out the League One side. But in the end, is that the first rule in football was highlighted at its best. Stats mean absolutely bugger all. The only thing that does is the scoreline.
Yeah, and Rhys popped up when needed. It were a cracking finish, I thought, a good bit of play. But I think out of all the play that we saw on Tuesday night, I do believe they'll struggle, Craig, with the back two, because I don't think they're that mobile. From what I can, remember of the match, I saw the match. I actually, by the time I'd got through and switched on the Sky Sports Plus, I'd missed the goal. Typical. But I saw it back later. But yeah, it was good.
Alan, you do know it. You do know it starts on Sky Sports Plus. It starts 15 minutes before kickoff, right? So you can just put it on and wait.
Know. But it was my fault. But by the by, I saw the goal in the end anyway.
Well, what I'm wondering is, he said what he can remember. So how many drinks did you have that night?
Not many, Craig. Not many, Nathan. Certainly not. But I thought it was a decent performance that we, backs to the wall stuff. We rode it out in the first half, but I think we looked a hell of a lot more balanced when Hewitt came on. Because, like I said last week, I don't like Sweeney and Cargill together as they are in that pairing. To me, it doesn't work right. We need Macca there, a proper left back, and play a back four, in my opinion. But, they stuck it out. They played well. And I thought Aaron Lewis had a decent game as well.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, on Tuesday night, we did tinker with the formation a little bit, going from that back three to that back four, which we'd looked a little bit solid. But I completely get the Sweeney Cargill thing, because they're both natural left footers. Neither of them can really use the right foot. So it does give a bit of an imbalance there, doesn't it?
I just wonder what will happen. I mean, I'm assuming Deji will come back sometime, because
Sorry, who?
I'm sorry.
Who?
I presume Dave will come back sometime. But what's going to happen then? Where are they going to play? It's going to be It's going to be an interesting situation, Craig. To be fair.
Yeah, it is. It'd be interesting to see which shape we go forward then as well, because I think, Nigel Clough has seemed absolutely adamant, Nathan, that he wants to go with this, the 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2 or whatever formation he wants to go with the wing backs. But for me, Nathan, we played that back four on Tuesday night, almost because of injuries and people being unavailable, but almost to counter the system that they try and play as well. And we looked a lot more secure in it. And if you watch back the second goal, that formation suited us a lot more, because we pressed from the front, which we don't do in the 3-8.
No, I mean, a lot of that was down to good old JB9, leading that press. But I think it'd be interesting what we do, going forward on Saturday. Like you say, Tuesday night was maybe down to the personnel that was there, but I think the fact that we did come away with a clean sheet has to be taken into consideration. I mean, we owe a lot to the goalkeeper for that. I don't think we were watertight by any means. So I think whether it's a 3, or 5 or 4, we've still got to improve substantially when it comes to Saturday, because we all know how we're going to get punished. Basically, there's the difference between League One and League Two. We've learned that. We learned that last season. So we, I would rather see us go with a 4, simply because we have kept a clean sheet, and I think we're a bit more comfortable in that at this stage. But whether Clough is going to stick to his ideal, 5-3-2 or 3 whatever, 3 at the back, then we need Dave in there. That's all I can think, and it depends how long he's going to be away for, if it is an actual injury.
Really frustrating. I've not got the whiteboard with me in the background tonight to draw out the different permutations, but there you go. You'll have to use your imaginations. I think for me, Alan, playing the back four does suit us a little bit more. I get why he wants to play the 3. It's the way that most clubs and most sides set up now, especially at sort of a League One level. But you look at the personnel we've got, and the way we try and play through the lines and play through the midfield as well. I don't know. I think the back four suits us a little bit more. It can be fluid and flexible if it needs to be, and drop into a 3 at times. But when we got on the ball, we looked more comfortable in trying to move it through the midfield. And like we mentioned earlier with Will Evans with the second goal in the game, and the way Jordan Bowery was in there, just allowed us to press higher up the pitch and put the pressure on the opposition. Just suits our game a little bit more. And let's not forget, that's how we were successful in those previous seasons. It's what we owed a lot of our success to.
Yeah, I just think, like I said, when Hewitt came on, I just think we looked a lot more balanced. You can understand why Nigel plays Cargill and Sweeney, because, now that Sweeney's here and his captain, he's been bought for 2 years, we know that Sweeney is going to be the kingpin, and people are going to have to play around him, and they'll have to get used to that, by whatever means, whether it's putting him in a 4, whether we stick to the 3, whether we have the 5, or however we decide to play. But I just thought that when Hewitt came on, we looked a hell of a lot more balanced. And I think it proved that with the goalkeeper not having a deal to do like he did in the first half, because he was absolutely tremendous, weren't he?
He was. We're going to praise Liam Roberts till the cows come home in just a minute. But before we do, I want to focus on Jordan Bowery a little bit because, you know, he takes a lot of flack, does Jordan Bowery. And I think there was a few people probably in the summer when we, you know, gave him another year extension or whatever it was when he signed a new deal, that were a little bit disappointed to see him sign. But actually, what he showed on Tuesday night was the reason that he's here and the reason that Nigel Clough put so much faith in him, Nathan. And that is, you know, started at right back, went into a challenge early doors and set the tone. And he even said in his post-match interview, that was my intention. I was going to come out and set the tone. And he even knew that the first challenge was going to get him booked or whatever. Went up front in the second half for a good 20, 30 minutes and led the line superbly well, chasing down lost causes, really stretching the game, forcing them into errors. He had a good couple of opportunities as well. And then when Sweeney sort of went off with a little bit of a cautious injury, dropped back into centre half, read the game superbly well, didn't give them anything at all, and is passionate the full-time whistle, which we've all seen on the video, etc. And for those that were there, just show what an incredible player he is. And there's absolutely no coincidence there, Nathan, either, that the vice captaincy very much is Jordan Bowery's this year.
I love this post-match interview as well. I mean, if anybody hasn't watched that yet, get onto the socials of Mansfield Town or YouTube or whatever and give it a watch. Just his passion comes through on that, and I actually think, to be honest, I did have my concerns about him originally, especially when he first, a few years ago when he started playing the sort of centre back, and he did have mistakes in him and things like that. And I think he still has them, which is why he's a League One player. But I actually think the last 2 seasons in particular, since we've gone up, I actually think he's improved, even though, he's aged and you would say he was playing out of position. I mean, I think he's becoming more accustomed to it. But like you say,
I, as you know, Nathan, I don't like cutting people off on this podcast, but I genuinely think now that there's no
position,
even thought process of Bowery playing that position. His position is everywhere.
That's the point. I think you would have said playing at the back would have been out of position, but I think he's now become so accustomed to it. He's comfortable there, and I think, and then that probably works for the players around us. It helps that he's got that bit of pace as well, which is handy at the back. But to then be able to do what we did on Tuesday night and put him up top when the possibilities there, he was obviously happy to do it. He was pressing from the front, and he helped us get that vital second goal. And I just think, in previous seasons, they probably would have chucked Aidan Flint up there instead or something and just gone long ball. And I think he's a better option, more mobile option to do that. So no, I think this last sort of couple of seasons he's really sort of found his own, and I think he is becoming a fan favourite. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for what he's done.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to see him start at the back on Saturday, to be fair, and go with a back four, get that little bit of a balance in, maybe go for a back four if he's fit and available, of Hewitt right back, Bowery and Sweeney centre backs, Cargill out and out left back, and then we'll look at what we can do in midfield and maybe dropping McAdam out. And on McAdam, Alan, we've had a comment in from Charlie. As always, if you want to have your say on your team, you can do so in the live feed. Please do get involved and we'll try and read them out and answer your questions. Charlie says, don't know your opinions, but McAdam doesn't offer much for me. I know he's young, but from what I've seen, doesn't look anywhere near Macca's level. I have to agree, Alan, that 100% with what Charlie's put there. I'm grateful for Nottingham Forest for lending him to us and sending him here on loan and giving him that opportunity. However, I would like to know the crux of that deal. Do we have to play him for X amount of fixtures? Do we have to give him that, that starting place regardless, as some loans are? Or is it a case that Macca's not fully fit? Because you look back to the opening 2 league games of the season, you look back at Burton, McLaughlin comes on and instantly as a wing back lifts us much further up the pitch than what we were with McAdam. Manages to beat players, get crosses into the box. We look much more of an attacking physical threat. Same with the Doncaster game. We were struggling to get out of our own half with wing backs in the first half. McLaughlin comes on at half time against Doncaster. Automatically, we tend 15 yards further up the pitch, and it's, nothing says more about how he can press and how he can drive us forward than that phenomenal goal which he scored. And again, he came on at the C Word on Tuesday night and slotted into a bit of a different position for us, and just brings that experience. He's almost channeled that level of experience from Uncle Stephen, hasn't he?
He has, but it just makes me wonder, because when you hear the interviews with Nigel, sometimes, it's not always Macca, but other people, it can only do 45, or he's got a slight knock or whatever. But Macca always seems to be there, and he seems to be available, and he seems to be part of the crux of the matter when we go forward, whether we score a goal or not. He seems to be the kingpin, and sometimes it's a bit baffling when he doesn't start the game, but there's got to be a reason for that. I think the young lad, I think his turn will come, because the one thing I can say about him, he's got a damn good engine. He's up and down the pitch all the time, and it doesn't seem to tire out, because he was battling right till the end again on Tuesday night. I know he got shoved off the ball in the bottom corner when we were 2 up, but he was there. He's thereabouts, and he's got a good engine. So I think his time will come, but I think Macca will creep in more and more as the season progresses.
Matt in the comments says he did look better on Tuesday. Cost us the first 2 games, though, along with Reed. Macca will always be the boss on that left-hand side. I don't know, Nathan. Maybe it's holding on to that whole long-term, long-serving sort of player things. Whenever we sort of name our lineup, it tends to be the old guard rather than the new. But there's just something about the way McLaughlin can play. I think, like Alan says, McAdam's time will come, but we're desperate for points in the league at the minute, and I think we need to be a little bit ruthless in getting them.
I definitely agree. I never used to be Macca's biggest fan, but he started this season very well, even though he hasn't played as much as we would have liked. But I think we would probably rather see it the other way around. McAdam, for me, he had a good pre-season. I remember quite a few of the games. Was it Middlesbrough at home? He was really involved with getting crosses into the box and being more effective higher up the pitch. And I know Friend is a little bit different, but he did show us a little bit of that more sort of attacking side to his game, which he hasn't really brought into the league. So I think there is a player in there, but maybe his age, inexperience, to expect him to come into men's football in League One level, it's still a tough ask. So I genuinely think it would benefit both us as a club to be starting with Macca if he is fit, just because he's in such good form and he's got that experience. But I think it would also benefit McAdam as well to be coming off the bench maybe when the game's settled down and there's maybe not as much pressure on him personally. It's a bit different when you come in as a sub. So I agree with the comments, but that'll be my take. I think there will be more to come from him, but I just want to see maybe him from the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlie in the comments says, really hope these contracts for the young lads don't involve a certain amount of playing time. If you're good enough, you'll play. It should be no guarantee. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. We're going to talk Doncaster in just a minute, Alan. But first, let's continue in reveling in the glory of Tuesday night, shall we? And we need to talk about Super Liam Roberts in goal, or Liam in Roberts, as we're going to call him, a.k.a. Sir Liam, because the rule is, when you score against the C Word and you go on to win the game, you automatically get a knighthood, but nothing has ever been mentioned for the goalkeepers. And let's be completely honest here. Yes, goals win games, but you need to massively rely on your goalkeeper at times as well. And Liam Roberts deserves the credit. He was obviously named man of the match by supporters, but he needs to go down in Mansfield folklore, and for that, he needs a knighthood, Alan.
There's all the superlatives you can talk about, but every save he made, and he just looked right from the off, he looked so confident. His handling, I thought, where he hasn't maybe been as confident as that, but there again, once you've gone that goal in front, Craig, it gives the whole team confidence. So, that first save that he made, And, the 4 or 5 or however many made after that were just all, top draw, weren't they? They really were top draw, and he deserved every accolade that everybody threw at him. Because, like I say, second half, when we looked at slightly more balanced, in my opinion, he didn't really have a lot to do. But what he needed to do in the first half stood him in good stead, and, fair play to him.
I think I counted 7 saves, Nathan.
I know there were definitely 5. Good, top draw.
The first before the match, I remember speaking with my old man. I was saying to me about Roberts. To me, I think he's going to be one of them keepers who really shows up for the big games. Obviously, you want him to show up for everything, but I just had the feeling with that being such a big match, being the local derby, I just felt like he was going to come into his own a little bit more. But I didn't expect a performance like that. We go back to 2013 and remember Alan Marriott having a cracking game when we were again sort of far from favourites, and we were in the same league back then. But he put a great performance then. But I think what Roberts did Tuesday night, even it topped that by some as well. So what a performance, and hopefully that'll be enough just to maybe settle him as well for the league going forward too.
I think he's needed that, Alan, as well, that settling game, that game where he shows up and he throws himself at everything. The adrenaline starts to get to you. You make one save, you can't wait for the next shot to come at you because you're eager to dive. You're eager to put your body on the line. You're eager to please. The dancing at the end in front of the fans obviously absolutely made it. Like Tom says in the comments, he made some difficult saves look absolutely easy. And do you know what? I think for him, given the last sort of year he's had, with all the FA Cup stuff and the everything that happened at his previous club, he needed to come in, didn't he, and sort of make that other little bit of a talking point. And I think he's definitely done that. I think that was the game that we needed to really bang the team together. Because we've missed that.
Yeah, I'd agree, because when he came in, I don't know where I've read it, but I feel sure, I could be wrong, but I feel sure I've read it somewhere where he's one of these goalkeepers that comes out in his box and claims. Well, I haven't really seen that yet. When we've been under the cosh, which to be fair, we've been under quite a while, he stays on his line, similar to what Pim did. But one thing I do notice, he will come and dive at the striker's feet and take it off the defenders. This is before Tuesday night, in the home match that we saw and the couple of away matches. So, but Tuesday, like I say, once he'd got that early goal, I think it gave everybody confidence, but he just oozed class, far, way beyond League One from the saves that he was making. And, I think same as Nathan said, it'll stand him in good stead now with the rest of the team, hopefully, for Saturday, because he's proved he can do it.
Yeah, he certainly has. The Gate says, in fairness, 3 of the saves were top draw, like the newest pants and socks draw. I mean, what an analogy that is. Keep your comments coming in. Have your say on your team. Really want to hear from you tonight. Let's talk about one off the pitch thing and sort of put it to bed a little bit. There's been a photo doing the round on social media, which someone's put on of supposedly the away end after the Mansfield fans were there. A quick Google reverse image search will tell you that image, I think, comes from 2022. So it's always not, don't always believe anything that you read on the internet and that you see on the internet. I'd like to say that the majority of fans were well behaved on Tuesday night. Of course, there'll be the one or two that didn't go for the football and got exactly what they wanted from it. There was a video, I think, that did the round on TikTok where it was shot from the Mansfield coach driver's perspective, the players' bus coach driver, and there was some trouble in and around the playing bus as well. I think some stickers were put on and some scratches and various other bits. There's no part of it, no place for it in football whatsoever. So if you were involved in any of that, then for me, that just is just frustrating. That's not what it's all about. What it is all about is the scenes, Alan, that we saw at full time, the singing, the dancing, the having a laugh, and the reveling in the glory that on the pitch, we again proved to be the superior team and took the bragging rights. That is all that matters over anything else.
Yes, like we said when we were talking during through the game, and we were scrolling up and down on our Mansfield Matters page. I was saying, like my wife was saying, watching the game, well, they're all over us. They're all over Mansfield. I said, just look at in that top left-hand corner where it says 1-0. I said, that's all that matters at the moment. I mean, if you did that all the way through 46 games, nobody would be moaning. I know it won't happen. But, on the night, we were winning 1-0. We locked the door till 45 minutes, came out second half and looked a different team. We just managed to suppress them, because I did think in the end the light faded a little bit, which I thought they would, because there's a lot of quite quick players. I thought Stirk had a good game for them, to be fair, as well. But no, it's the result that counts, Craig, and it don't matter how you get there. You can ask Nigel, you can ask anybody that. But I'll agree with Marie. He's got quite a few good moves as the keeper.
He certainly has, old Liam Roberts. Before we talk about the Doncaster game and focus on results, Nathan, obviously the prize for beating the C word was obviously bragging rights and people being able to ring up the club and ask them who they've got in the second round of the Carabao Cup, and doing the whole, we've changed the number to their phone number to 2-0 and all of that sort of stuff, and all of the jollifications which come with it. But the actual prize, we were all shocked, weren't we? We were all expecting someone like Blackpool at home, a naff tie, no disrespect to Blackpool, but we actually got a reward for once. And brand new stadium, Everton away.
Honestly, one of the best draws we could have got, given the circumstances, with it being a brand new stadium. I mean, the first week it opens, you couldn't have got much better, could you? So no, what a draw, and it should be a good payday as well for us. Even though it's the second round of the League Cup, because with the ground being so new, I'd imagine a lot will go in the home end as well for the Everton supporters. So no, it should be a fantastic fantastic day out. Another ground ticked off the list for a lot of people. I'm personally fuming because I'm on bloody holiday, otherwise, because I would have loved that. So I'm going to miss it unless for some reason it gets moved to the following week, which I don't think is possible, but you never know. But yeah, very good cup draw. And it's one of them, the pressure's off. You just go and enjoy it, and you never know. If you keep in it, snatch a goal. Was it Grimsby got a result there? No, sorry, Stevenage got a result there last year, was it? Or somebody like that. But so you never know. It's not beyond the impossibilities of winning, but it'll be a good away day regardless.
Yeah, very much so, Alan. Very much looking forward to that. And as soon as I heard about it last night, I was thinking, oh my God, this is an absolute dream tie for us. We managed to go, a few of us, didn't we, to the old ground when we played in the Mickey Mouse Cup, and Lucas Akins did a wonderful job at right back and helped us to concede 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes and throw away the game. Let's hope we don't do this in the second round of the Carabao Cup, but no chance of Lucas Akins playing right back, is there, in that one, to be fair?
No, it is a good draw. I'm same as Nathan. I'm afraid I'm away on holiday, so I won't be able to go. I'd have come back off holiday if it had been at home, but obviously it's away, so I should be watching it on Sky, no doubt. But yeah, the cracking draw. And what more can you ask? I think out of all the teams, I think they were the best possible team to get, from what I can remember from the teams that were in it.
Yeah, I think only Manchester United was the other one that.
They say Grimsby's got a good draw, haven't they, against Man U?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. But I think there's probably a high possibility that it'll be on the Wednesday nights. I think they play in the Prem on the Sunday. That'll probably open up the possibility for it being on TV as well as one of the main games, rather than the.
I would have thought so.
The Sky Sports Plus selection. So yeah, good payday for us. Exactly what you want. And you know what? Even if we lose heavily and we go out of the cup, it doesn't matter, because what we've got is we've beaten the local rivals. We've put them firmly back in their box. We've crowned 3 new Knights of the Realm, and we've got a juicy cup tie at a brand new ground for everybody on the top of it, and that is all you can ask for. Right, let's turn our attention to results. Then we mentioned it earlier on, Nathan, about it's only the scoreline at full time which is ultimately what matters. Well, unfortunately for the Stags, Despite Stephen McLaughlin scoring an absolute screamer on Saturday against Doncaster, the Stags did what the Stags do best, and that's surrender a lead and go home with absolutely nothing. And 2 successive league games on the bounce where we've got no points. It has to change on Saturday. And I think, people might say that this is a little bit of an overreaction or whatever, but I think for confidence within the dressing room and sort of digging our heels in, I think we've got to come away with 3 points. Otherwise, it's not a good result for us.
Yeah, unfortunately so, just because of the start we've had with the first 2 games. We had a fantastic opportunity on Saturday to put that game to bed. Really, getting the goal, that strike from Maka should have been enough to win that game. It was worthy of winning a game, and it was on the day. It was unfortunate. It was 2 very poor teams, and usually when you get that one that one moment of magic is enough to win it. But yeah, we conceded 2 very, very poor goals from our perspective, and as I sort of mentioned earlier, the problem is at League One level, you're going to get punished with giving chances away like that. They're going to get put in the back of the net. So we need to certainly fix up at the back. And I think at the moment it doesn't matter about the performances too much right now. We do just need to get a win off. So whether it's a back to the walls, scrappy 1-0 win at Exeter, I'd certainly take it right now. I know we want to see us playing better because it has been really poor so far, but and that includes Tuesday night. Performance-wise was poor, but I think just getting 3 points on the board in the league is incredibly important right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I would. I'm sure you'd absolutely echo that, Alan, as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it was. But to be fair, I'll say to be fair to Doncaster, on the whole, I think the 2 strikes. I know they were scrappy, but I mean they battled all the way through. They never stopped, did they? And I mean, look at what happened on Tuesday night. Was it Blackburn they beat 4-0 or Middlesbrough or somebody? So
yeah, one of the 2, Middlesbrough. To be fair,
they are a decent side. But, just a shame that we couldn't hold on. And we did, I think we struggled in that, the last the 12-yard bit. We seemed to struggle on Saturday because each time we wanted to clear it, it were either hitting somebody else, they were getting mixed up and whatever. And I think it's just getting to know each other, Whereas before, we've had Dave, we've had Cargill, we've got it out, we've been no problem, Because I honestly believe if we'd have played the League Two side against Doncaster, would have beat them. That's in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Matthew asked in the comments, Rhys Oates injured. Anyone know? Obviously went off on Tuesday night, Nathan, with a bit of a niggle, which is never nice to see. But hopefully he'll come back through that because he's just starting to show that the player that he was before. I've drooled and salivated over the Will Evans goal and the role which Jordan Bowery played in that. You can't actually discredit the Rhys Oates goal. We start that attack in our own half with Rhys Oates playing in that 4-3-3 on the right-hand side of that front 3, dropping deep, picking up the ball, driving forward, playing a 20-yard pass into the feet of Dom Dwyer, who does superbly well to hold off his man. But Oates, most importantly, Nathan, carries on his run, picks up the ball again, takes on a defender and puts it in the bottom corner. That is the Rhys Oates which we know and love from his glory days, shall we say, and the player which we all want and so desperate for him to become. It's just a shame that he does that and then picks up a niggle.
I was having this discussion as well after the match. I thought, for me, the only negative thing you can really say about it is the fact that he just get injured, and that's not his fault. It's really unfortunate, really. But I think, touch wood because you never know. But from what Cloughie was saying after the match, it was more of a tight groin or a groin injury, so it shouldn't be a long-term one, not like previously. So that's good news because I think I do highly rate him. I always have, and I think we need him this season certainly at the moment. And like you said there, it's not just the fact that he contributed with the goal. You always refer to him as a road runner, and that's because he doesn't stop, does he? He's one of those players that will close down at the front. And we was praising Bowery for doing it in the second half. Well, Oates will do that. He'll run for you as long as you ask him to. And I think that contributes to his injuries sometimes because he works so hard. He knackers himself out. He probably needs to learn to try and, to try and, well, not his stamina, but you know what I mean? Try and control it a little bit, I guess. But no, I hope he's not going to be out for too long. Like I said, I think he's going to be a key player for us if he can remain fit.
Marie in the comments, Alan says that 3 groin issues, Dave, Oates and Sweeney. Is this start of a new problem? Well, we can alleviate that. We can write it in the contract, can't we? 9 months, 9 months, no home activities.
She beat me to it, actually. That was my next point. It's just strange, isn't it? Where we've had tight hamstrings before, or this, that, and the other. All of a sudden, it seems to be groins now. It just seems when one gets one, the others follow suit. But I think apart from Dave, who's, had his a while, hopefully these two were just a precaution to come off, because you could see physically how upset Oates was, because when we put in the chat, he's gone off injured. I didn't think he had gone off injured. Then I thought he would just sub, but then obviously we realised afterwards why he'd come off, which is fair play. Don't make it any worse, especially with groins, because, 1 or 2 weeks could go to a month. So,
especially when you sprinted around left, right, and centre like he does, it's only going to make it worse, isn't it?
The speed he moves at, exactly.
Absolutely that. Right, keep your comments coming in. Have your say on your team. Really want to hear your views. Anything Mansfield Town related you want to talk about tonight, we'll talk about it in the second half of the show. First, though, time for a very quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk Bishop Street. We're going to talk podcast predictions results from the weekend and laugh at Clive, and we're going to look ahead to the Exeter game and fixtures coming up, as well as other things here on the Mansfield Matters podcast, the show for the fans, by the fans. Why? Because Mansfield always matters.
We're the Mansfield Matters crew, making podcasts just for you. Some show up, some disappear, but the Stags bring us all here. Through the ups and downs we stay, talking Mansfield Town every day.
You're back with the show for the fans, by the fans. Why? Because Mansfield always matters. Thanks so much for joining us on this Thursday evening. Like I said at the top of the show, if it does dip in and out a little bit tonight, that's because we're live from my hotel room rather than the usual home comforts of the studio. I've got Nathan and Alan with us as well. Right, let's delve into some news. Obviously, the Doncaster game, Alan, was a test event for the Bishop Street stand, the best damn toilets in the land. Clive's been to have a little look at them this week and had a little bit of a mill in Sid's milling area. And, the club are delighted to announce that the Bishop Street stand's going to be open in full, up and running for the Blackpool game.
Well, nothing but superlatives to that one either, Craig. It was lovely to see people in there and hear that little bit of vocal support coming over. But, they made a cracking job of it. You can't really complain. It's took a while. We all knew it would do, irrespective of how people were saying, it'll be ready for such and such. It's ready now. It's open now. And let's see if we can start getting some decent performances so we can fill it.
Well, if you missed it earlier, this is what the club posted on their feed. The renovated Bishop Street stand at One Course Stadium will be open to supporters for the first time in over 21 years when the Stags host Blackpool on Tuesday, the 19th of August. The club are delighted to announce. The news follows a successful pilot event against Doncaster Rovers early this month. Extensive renovation work has taken place for the past year on the previously derelict Bishop Street stand, and Tuesday's match will see its opening for the first time since the 20th of May 2004. The new Bishop Street stand will have a capacity of 727 seats, and supporters with tickets for the Bishop Street stand will enter via the new turnstiles of the Quarry Lane stand adjacent to the groundsman's hut. New season ticket holders can purchase season tickets online from 10 a.m. onwards on Saturday, the 16th of August, and then 10 a.m. on Monday, the 18th of August, via the ticket office. There'll be a cap of 275 transferable season tickets. will be made available in the Bishop Street stand as well. Both new season tickets and transferable season tickets will be sold/transferred on a first come, first served basis. The remaining seats will be available for supporters to purchase on a match by match basis, in line with the 2025-26 matchday ticket pricing structure, which means around £30. New season ticket prices for the Bishop Street stand for the remainder of the season are as follows: £295 for an adult, £245 for a senior. If you're under 21, it's £175. If you're under 18, it's £95. If you're under 14, it's £45. If you're under 7 or a carer, it is free. And prospective new Bishop Street stand season ticket holders can purchase season tickets online via stagstickets.co.uk. Now, current season ticket holders who wish to be transferred into the Bishop Street stand for the remainder of the season will receive a credit for the balance of their season ticket account, the credit from which can be used towards next season's ticket purchase, because obviously there's a difference between the pricing in the Ian Greaves or in the Quarry Lane. So that difference will be subtracted and put onto your ticket account for a credit next season. Any current season ticket holders who wish to be transferred can acquire a season ticket in the Bishop Street stand by visiting the ticket office at One Call Stadium or by emailing ticketoffice@mansfieldtown.net. The option to transfer is not available online. So if you want to transfer your ticket, say, for example, you've got a group of 5 or 6 of you and you're all dotted around all over the place and you want to all sit together on one row or whatever, you need to go down in person or drop the club an email. My suggestion would be to probably go down in person. The guys at the ticket office would be able to sort that out for you as well. So essentially that's just sort of reading through that, Nathan. That's 275 more season tickets we can add on to the total, because presumably once people, or if people do transfer their season tickets, that said seat in Ian Greaves or in the Quarry Lane will then become available for somebody to buy either match by match or as a season ticket, you'd imagine. So increased capacity all around, and just 2 games later than what they would have hoped for. But it's great to see it up and running, and the fact that you can have a season ticket there too.
Yeah, that's it. I actually didn't think they were going to do season tickets for it. So that's a big bonus for those that do want to be in there sort of full time. Did we sell all season tickets? I know it was capped at 6,000, wasn't it? I didn't know if we actually sold them all this year or not. But either way, if you are getting people that move from, Ian Greaves, which used to be, certainly Ian Greaves upper seems to be like the most sort of sought after season tickets. Maybe they'll come available, which will be snapped up hopefully. So and like I say, hopefully we'll get a few. It's that extra capacity. So the big games, maybe the League Cup third round when we've got Man City at home, it's extra seats there to fill. So no, it's great to finally have it, over the line, done and dusted, and hopefully we can get numbers in there, get a bit of extra revenue for the club to recoup some of the extra costs it did go over budget, unfortunately, but if we can make it work and make it pay for itself over time, we'll hopefully be able to move on to phase 2 and phase 3 at some point and get those executive boxes in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Get the song reach to its full potential. It's so nice though, Alan, isn't it, to see it finally done? And you got to give props to everyone that's done that. Yes, there was probably some still work that potentially needed doing with it in that corner, but the test event seemed to go well, and it just makes it feel like a proper ground again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just lovely, because, you hear other fans say, oh, we're going to a 4-sided or a side ground with 4 sides now. It's just nice to see, isn't it? Because the nice colour coding of the seats, everything went well. Well, it must have done, obviously, with the SAG passing it. And every stage that, Sid has done, everything has been, it's got to be just so. And everything's been done just so. So you can't fault the bloke. He's done a really good job, like Andy Sutton with the lead up to it, with all the work, him and his work, and everybody else that's worked on people putting the seats in. I think there was some relation to John Radford drilling the seats and putting them in. So it's just a round of applause to everybody that's joined in and made it possible.
Absolutely. Next task for me is getting that fan zone sorted and everything. Now I've got a bit of an idea to throw out there. Obviously, it's been mentioned, Nathan, that we're going to have LED boards going all the way around the corner of the pitch. Obviously, at the minute we've got in the corner, the north stand corner, the old scoreboard on the old structure from when we had that horrendous Wembley flip board, which was really, really bright, worked for about 3 games and then just stopped working. Now it's got the bigger LED screen on there. I know we use that for like a little bit of bigger advertising and birthday announcements and all of that stuff. But my suggestion is let's get rid of that from inside the ground, put that up on the fan zone area in the corner, utilize it to be able to, when these football matches on, like in the World Cup and the Euros and stuff like that, on the big screen outside, you can obviously then use it for other bits and bobs as well. That'll then clear that space in that north stand corner where it can be flattened. A new fan zone can be picked up from the other side and moved to that side, and then the stand can be extended down towards the Quarry Lane corner. That I'm sure that'll be on Sid's radar, because with the new LED boardings, there's no actual purpose for having that scoreboard there, because as part of the scrolling LED script or boardings, you could have sections of it which are stuck in place for a clock and a scoreline. That's all you need. Clock, club badge, scoreline, club badge. It's all you need.
Yeah, I guess it'll probably be some point on the agenda at some point. I guess it's probably a matter of chipping away at things. Obviously, for good reason, the priority has just been getting it ready to go. They can work out those other little bits and bobs to make it a little bit better going forward. But the main thing was to get it open and get seats in, and so they can actually start, like I say, getting a bit of money back, and then they can look at maybe spend a bit more money on moving screens and whatnot for future things. But no, like we said, it's there should be enough advertising around the place with the new LED advertising boards going in. So yeah, I agree. If we can get something else to attract people to the fan zone for Stags away games or for World Cup and things like that, then that would be great. But I'd imagine it's probably not as easy as it looks.
No, it's easier said than done, that's for sure. But we could definitely build the Wilson PA booth over in that corner, give him his own little. Mez has got his foot in one corner. We could have the Wilson DJ booth in the other.
It'd be different.
It certainly would. I'd like it, Al, to be fair. I'd like it. One thing that we have done now, the Bishop Street stand is open. Obviously, Ian Greaves' stand is named after a legend in Ian Greaves. We've spoken about Sir Rhys Oates. We've spoken about Sir Will Evans, obviously, and honorary Sir Liam Roberts. We gave a load of praise to Jordan Bowery earlier in the show, but we didn't give him a knighthood because I think he's probably got one already, to be fair. However, Bishop Street stand needs a name. And Alan, I don't know about you, but the Jordan Bowery Bishop Street stand, that's got a ring to it.
It might have a ring to it, but I doubt that will happen, Craig.
Is it not the Neil Bishop stand?
I think it will just be called, the Bishop Street stand, and leave it as it is.
I'll have a sponsor one day, don't you worry.
Who knows?
No, Nathan's already put a bid in for it to be the Mansfield Canine Centre.
Right. I can tell you, I can tell you what that'll be. In 5 years' time, when we're sat pretty in the Championship, that can be called the Nigel Clough stand when he retires. That's what it'll be.
Hey, it's for me the Jordan Bowery Bishop Street. The Jordan Bowery Bishop Street stand has got a definite ring to it, and I'm all for it.
I think you might be on your own with that one.
I'm starting the campaign right here, right now. The Jordan Bowery Bishop Street stand. Let's go. And do you know what? If my guessing's that good, maybe I'll win this game too.
The game of luck, who gives up, don't mess it up. I hear you say, how do you play? Win, lose or draw, then pick a score and one more thing. Pick a hero, don't score zero, that's the game. But we're not fools, this game has rules. It gets on time, you'll be fine. rhyme. Remember the rhyme. Podcast predictions. Podcast predictions. Remember the rhyme. Guess on time, you'll be fine. Remember the rhyme. Podcast predictions.
Podcast Predictions is brought to you in association with Mansfield Canine Centre. Why? Because dogs matter. Woof! Right, let's crack on with get on with the results from match number 2. The winner with 23 points, if you didn't see it on social media, it was Darren Wood, who predicted a 2-1 defeat, and Bailey Cargill is his fancy captain choice. 2 others also went for a 2-1 loss. That was Johnny Rotten. But he had Roberts as his captain, and our Clive Parkin, he also went for a 2-1 loss, as you well know, but he was subject to a 5-point deduction because he didn't remember the rhyme. He didn't remember the rules, and that is that you cannot pick the same player 2 games in a row. Doing so will incur a 5-point penalty. Now, Clive's prediction for Burton was that we'd win 2-1 and Sweeney would be his player. And Clive's prediction for Doncaster was that we'd lose 2-1, so a different prediction, but he went with the same player in Ryan Sweeney. So you cannot, you cannot do that. You can't pick the same player in consecutive games. That would lead to a 5-point deduction. The 5-point deduction also applied to 2 other players in podcast predictions this week. That was Craig Foster and the Stag Man. Now, Otley Stag, I feel a little bit sorry for them, gave their guess on time in the usual gameplay rules of 1:55. However, the teams are now out earlier thanks to the stupid EFL change of 1:45 on a 3 o'clock kickoff, etc. So the deadline is now 90 minutes before kickoff. So it was over by 25 minutes. Overall, the current top 3 is as follows. Darren Wood, Johnny Rotten, Limbo 74 and Tim P. They're both in joint third, Limbo 74 and Tim P. And if you wondered what the fantasy captain points were for the players on Saturday, McLaughlin picked up 9. He was your best choice. Cargill, your second best choice, in 8. Sweeney got 5. Reed would have got you 4. Hewitt and Evans both would have got you 3. Noyle, Dwyer, and Henry would have got you 2. Little Nobby Welsh and Liam Roberts, Rhys Oates and Giorgio Mauricio would have got you 1. McAdams and Bowery scored you 0, and everybody else got you -5. There'll be no weekend update this week following the Exeter game because, of course, the brilliant Ben, the podcast predictions guru, is on holiday. So there'll be no updates over the weekend. And we've got 2 games to predict for as well, of course, because we're in action on Tuesday night at home to Blackpool. So let's kick start then, and let's go first and foremost with the Exeter game. And Alan, we're going to start with you.
Win 2-0. Bailey Cargill.
I can tell you, Alan, that you have not incurred a penalty for selecting the same player 2 games in a row. Well done. Nathan, let's see what your memory's like, shall we? What are we doing for
Lose
Exeter?
2-0, sadly. And Ryan Sweeney.
Now, I don't know what your prediction was for the last game because you weren't on the podcast.
I can tell you, it was. I know I chose Rhys Oates because I was worried because he wasn't playing. Then he came on as a sub, so it was a sigh of relief. But I can't remember what score I put, but I know I got it wrong anyway.
But scoreline doesn't matter.
I think I put 1-0 win, actually.
Yes. I am going to go for a big win. I'm going to go for a 4-0 win. I'm going bold. And I'm going to go for JB9 as my choice of fantasy captain for that one. Let's go with the Blackpool game then in midweek. I'm going to go for a tighter 2-0 win. And my fantasy captain for that one, I'm going to go for... Who am I going to go for? Let's go for a goal. No, do you know, I'm going to go for Liam Roberts. I think he'll keep us in it. Nathan, Blackpool at home on Tuesday night.
2-1 win. And I'm going to go with Dom Dwyer.
Trumbull Dwyer. Alan.
2-1 win. Will Evans.
Excellent. As always, if you want to play along with podcast predictions in association with Mansfield K9 Centre, there I said it twice, Nate. There you go. You can get involved via the link in the description and play along with podcast predictions. And if you want to play along with the EFL Fantasy app as well, the link that you need is in there. So lots of football coming up then over the next few weeks or so. As we say, we've got Exeter in the 12:30 kickoff on Saturday, which should be a tight game, Alan. But we've got to really, dig our heels in. It's really important now, isn't it, to get 3 points on the board and use that midweek win at the C Word as momentum now to take into the league season.
Yeah, it'll be the walking wounded. By the sound of it, it'll be first 11 that's fit that'll get the names on the team sheet. But I can never emphasise enough that early goal. It served its purpose on Tuesday night. Okay, we're under the cosh for 43 minutes afterwards, but it's so important and it builds so much confidence up. And you saw what happened with the end result. So I just hope we get an early goal, settle us down, and play the sort of football that we know we can play.
Absolutely. If you're looking for the link for podcast predictions, by the way, it's in the description of the episode. So the link for podcast predictions, if you need it, is go on the podcast live feed and you'll see it in the description. Just scroll down past all the usual bump of text and you'll see it right there. Or you can head to our Twitter and it's in the pinned link on there. So feel free to play along. And of course we've got 2 games coming up as well. At home, Nathan, obviously we've got the Blackpool game, then Leyton Orient as well. Really important now with the games coming thick and fast, isn't it, to try and build a little bit of momentum, because this can really start to shape our season.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to get stuck in that bottom 4, do we, and start getting adrift early on. We got off to a really good start last year, and it turned out that we really needed it, because obviously we all know what happened sort of from January onwards. We hope we'll be a bit more sort of consistent this year. So let's spread the wins out a little bit. If we do that, it might feel a little bit better. But yeah, let's not fall too far behind. Let's try and get this, these 3 points on the board ASAP. And if it doesn't come Saturday, I think it'll be a tough game against Exeter on Saturday. But we've got a couple of home games then to try and to put it right.
If you want to scan if you're watching on TV, by the way, Alan, if you point up in that corner, you'll be able to point to the podcast predictions thing. Other corner, that's watching Alan try. That's it there, somewhere around there, over there somewhere. You can scan the QR code on screen and you'll be able to play podcast predictions. I'm hoping that's still the right link. So there you go. I've not had time to update it, but yes, it is in the link in the description. Can't figure out how to move the logo back to the other side now. That was me messing about with stuff. So there you go. Well, there you go. Hover it over there. There you go. It's moved back over there now. Modern technology, it's a wonderful thing. Alan, like we say, great win on Tuesday night in the cup. We've got a just reward from that. I don't feel like things properly were clicking for us in the opening 2 games in the league, but hopefully that Derby Day victory will have done something within the squad. Yes, we're going to struggle with 1 or 2 injuries, but I don't know about you. Whenever a Nigel Clough side seems to struggle with players missing through injury or whatever, seems to actually pull us together a little bit more, and we actually get through, don't we?
How many times have we seen that in recent seasons, Craig? You look at the team and you think, oh, well, he's missing and such is missing. He's not playing because he's injured. And they just seem to pull together. And it's the players like Aaron Lewis that's been sat in the stand for the last 2 games. I thought he played really well. And, hopefully he'll probably keep his place. And, he kept going for 90 minutes, or I think he lasted 90 minutes. And it just kept going, and he's not been anywhere near the starting 11. So it might do the others good. if we interchange a few, get Maris back in and see what happens.
Absolutely. Nathan, final thoughts from yourself? A big week coming up for the Stags. We've got to really try and get some points on the board now, haven't we? And like we say, find that momentum and use Tuesday as the catalyst.
Yeah, like I said, it's obviously we need to up our game, up our performances levels, but let's just get this this first 3 points on the board. So even if it comes off of Sweeney's arse, I don't really care. Let's just get one in the back of the net, even if it's a 1-0 and a back to the walls job. Get that 3 points. You can then sort of move on from that, and at least you've got it on the board, and then you can work on the performances a little bit. But yeah, let's just get that first win. We just need it. I think even though there are only 2 games in, it just feels like you need it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, still feels like a little bit of a hangover from last season a little bit. So let's have a little bit of a fresh start and really find our rhythm and our groove. Alan and Nathan, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Really good to see you both as always. And thank you to you guys at home as well for watching and listening. Unfortunately, we've reached the end. Well, that's all we've got time for this week on the Mansfield Matters podcast. My thanks to Alan and to Nathan for joining me remotely for this one. And a special thanks to the hotel Wi-Fi, which hopefully, touchwood, has held out for the last hour or so here on the podcast. And of course, my thanks to you guys at home for watching and for listening. Make sure you follow us on all things social media to find out when we're next going to be live. And of course, if you want to play along with podcast predictions as the Stags head for Exeter, don't forget it's a 12:30 kickoff. You can do so via the link in the description. A reminder that you must not select the same player 2 games in a row, otherwise you will lose 5 points. Clive, I'm looking at you. And you must, of course, submit your guesses no later than 90 minutes before kick-off this season. 90 minutes. And if you want to play the EFL Fantasy League app as well, that link is also in the description. Right, I'm off to sample the delights of Exeter. I'm sure I can squeeze in another ice cream on a glorious sunny day down here in Devon. And we'll see you next week on the show for the fans by the time of this is the Mansfield Matters Podcast. Good night.